Yo, welcome back. This is the part where I'm going to show you my deck profile for the Snake Eye Fire King. Yummy. Sounds crazy, right? Need to come up with a better name. Anyway, maybe toasted marshmallow, something like that. Anyway, so I've broken it down into engine parts for the profile. So what we're going to start with here is the Fire King engine, and I'll explain the reasons for some of the things. We've got 3 Ponyx, 3 Garunix, 3 Kirin, 1 Avata. That is it for the monsters. I cut the Ulcanix because this is more of a level 1 centric deck. You always want to summon a level 1 so you can link it off and extend with your yummies. I didn't feel that I wanted to run the Ulcanix because it's not an out and out Fire King deck. Normally you can get to it well enough through these. It's the weakest one because you have to play the other brick as well. And if you normal summon it, unless you run Almirage, which I couldn't find the room for, there's no way to link it into a link 1. So I did cut it. You might find you want to, but I just didn't feel it was necessary. This has the ability to summon from hand as well, and there's no way to get Ulcanix out of your hand. So yeah, I was very, very, very happy with this lineup. And then for the other parts of the engine, I got 2 Sanctuary, 1 Island, 1 Circle. I would consider trying the 3rd Sanctuary. I just can't find it anywhere, just for consistency, because there's actually, unfortunately, no way to bridge your other engines into the Fire King, so you kind of have to draw it. You can obviously try and experiment with things like Zombie Vampire to hopefully hit one of these, like the Ponyx. But that's the only thing I would say is you kind of have to rely on drawing this, or this. And the Circle of the Fire Kings, I have a personal preference for it over say Skyburn, and I couldn't really find room for both. It just felt a bit more like cloggy. I didn't like it. You might want to side it or you might want to main it, it's up to you. But yeah, I really prefer this because it can just bring back anything. It can bring back your Flamberge, and then that can spawn 2 more. I just found it was so much more utility. So yeah, that's it for the Fire King engine. So it's 10 monsters and 4 spells. Right, so we're going to move on now to the Snake Eye part, my favourite part. We've got the 3 Snake Eye Ash, the 1 Poplar, the 1 Diabellstar, and the 1 Flamberge. This is the same as what I ran last time in my last profile. Honestly, it's very, very hard to, it's all down to personal preference, this part, or what you find. Because if you draw the Poplar, this engine is completely offline. It relies on Ash adding Poplar to do the whole thing. So, do you want to play more Poplars to counter that? Because you're going to draw it more often, but you might have your engine live still. It's really hard, and I've looked for good ways to put it back in the deck. The only way I could really figure out to do that was by somehow getting it banished with an SP, and then because you can make Dispatter in this deck. I don't have it because it's a tight extra deck, but you can make it with the Yummy, Synchro, and Flamberge. You can make Dispatter, which shuffles in one of yours to destroy your opponents. So I did consider that, but yeah, generally I think this is the way to go. You can also run Oak, because that will let basically your Ash still function, reasonably well. You can bring back the Poplar if you've popped it for an island. So you do get a little bit of value, but I think generally I'm just going to stick with this until I maybe have too many problems. And then you have to run the 1 Chase, and Bonfire is consistency piece. Again, like back in the old days, if you normal summon Ash, it gets ashed. Yeah, Bonfire, you just go Bonfire for Poplar, and then your combo continues if nothing ever happened. Yeah, and apologies about my low rarity copies here. My others are in a deck I'm cooking. Can you tell that I love the Snake Eye engine? Anyway, the the newest part, the Yummy part. So we've got 3 Cupsies, and then 1 of each of the other names. And of course, the 1 MVP, the surprise. I mean, that is just so strong. I don't feel any reason, because the Yummy Axis is just a supplement. It's not like what I'm really, really trying to do. But they are good interrupts nonetheless. So that's where I just ran 1 each of the the interrupts, 1 of the recursion, and the Yummy Cupsy is obviously the main starter. So just 7 cards. I did not run the field spell. I think I mentioned in my combo video that searching the field spell does lock you. And also, it wasn't really I didn't want to risk drawing that as a brick, and the deck is already, it's a rogue deck, so, and there's kind of a brick to engine requirement you already play. So I just felt like that was one step too far for me personally. You may wish to, but yeah, that's it. And then obviously the 1-for-1, basically consider this an engine card for the whole deck because it's level 1 centric. So that was it for the engines. And the non-engine, yeah, mate, this is whatever you want. 3 Fuas, 3 Ashes for the counter Fua, 2 Nibs. I'm a big fan of Nib, sort of high impact if your opponent extends. And then 3 Imperm. The Re-Imperm might change to something higher impact or maybe some board breaker type stuff. But yeah, it's non-engine, you can make it what you want. The whole count of the main deck is 41, so yeah, you can optimize. Make it to your preference, whatever you like. Extra deck, very, very, very tight indeed. It depends exactly what you want to do and what comes up for you a lot. So you have to run the Princess. So good. Ambler Whale, I'm a big fan. I know not everyone is. Some people prefer the OTK package, the Salamangreat Great Phoenix, and the Zelantis. You know, I can get behind that. I've just not tested it personally, so you know. Other ways to get out of your Firelock, to link down and extend. If they Ash Blossom you, say, you have 2 bodies, you do this, go to Promethean. It's just a charmer. It also makes your engine searchable. You can crash it, and it is a way to search the Ponix, although a bit clunky. So Ponix can summon and search, so yeah, you kind of have to run it. I just think it's good. Sonic Wolf, nice. I think maybe I'm finding it a bit win more. I'm not sure that I want to keep this in. And one thing you can do though is it adds back and then Poplar triggers when it's added. I don't believe it has to be, I think I read correctly. I think it can be from anywhere, so you can summon the Poplar back if you add it, which is nice if you want to rumble targets. But yeah, something I might cut. The IP, really, really integral piece for this. Again, sorry, I've got my low rarity stuff in here mostly. The absolutely really important parts of the deck. The Yummy Snatchy, which gives you lots of interrupts. The Linkuriboh, it's the best generic one, and it can come up. And the Anima, because people do get sloppy with their zone placement, and I just like it. You could cut it for something else if you want. I'm quite a big fan of the Anima. And then we've got the IP, which is like the SP, which is the main thing we make off our IP, and it's just a great card, isn't it? SP, you don't need to explain that. We've got XEs, the level 8s. We've got the Galaxy Eyes, the Garunix. So this is the Monster Negate, this is the Raigeki, and this is the Draw 3. You don't get a battle phase with this, but it is nice because it's a fire, so you go, say, Ash, you draw into the island or the Sanctuary. You then can activate the Sanctuary and pop this because it's a fire, which is quite nice. This is your interrupt, this is your standard go first. So go second, go first, and flex. Yeah, you can cut it whatever you want. And then the last 3 cards, one to complete my Snake Eye engine, because it's just too good to not run. And then the Cupsy Way and the Yummy Way. You do not need the other one, unless you're trying to Synchro Climb, but that's not what this deck is. The Interrupt and the Starter, that's all you need. So yeah, that is the profile. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to everyone who has commented on my last video asking for more. I'm sorry it took so long to get back to you, but I just wanted to make some meaningful changes and make it worth watching. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you again.